What's up, guys? It is John from Side Hustle Experiments. In today's video, we're going to cover listings that do not have buy boxes, some of the pros and cons of being on them, why some listings do not have buy boxes, some things to be on the lookout for when it comes to listings like this. I keep getting the question, should I buy an item if it has no buy box? So we'll talk about how I kind of go about that. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I've done over $1 million in sales in my reselling, and I try to teach you guys how to make money selling on Amazon. So if you're into that, please subscribe to the channel. There's free resources below. Check those out, like the video. So yeah, let's just get into it. And apologies, daylight savings time, really messing up the drive along video. It's definitely much darker than it usually is, but we're gonna kind of fix that. Just kind of short on time and how to get a video done. Q4 is busy. Okay, let's get into it. Let's just start off why a listing may not have a buy box. So if you don't know what the buy box is, if you're shopping on Amazon and you go to buy something, there will be a price right there that will pop up, and that person's in the buy box, and that is the buy box. There are some listings that do not have buy boxes. So if you go to the listing or a customer goes to the listing, instead of there being a buy box, it will say something like see buying options. And then the customer would have to click that. They'd kind of have to scroll through to see, what's available. There's options to sort for Prime, I'm pretty sure, and merchant fulfilled, even though that doesn't really mean anything to the customer. So that's kind of what happens. So here's the deal. So some cons right off the bat of listings that don't have buy boxes is it's extra steps for the customer. So the customer wants to go to Amazon, they want to type in what they want, and they want to see that buy box and hit add to cart. So now when they go, it's a little more confusing. Number one, there's no buy it now type of button. They have to hit see all options. And now the biggest thing is now instead of, sometimes there will be Prime and merchant fulfilled sellers on the listing. It really just depends. But the person's usually going to go by cheapest price in this case, because sometimes on a regular listing, if the buy box is FBA, there's a good chance that it could be priced a little higher than a merchant fulfilled seller. So now when a customer's looking, they're looking for the lowest price, most likely. Again, this isn't written anywhere. This is just kind of from my experience and what I've heard from the community when I asked them about it. So now when you're looking for items, you have to keep in mind, you're going to be competing against merchant fulfilled sellers as well. So keep that in mind. Another thing that you have to look at is the sales are probably going to be lower than a listing that has a buy box, just because it's more work for the customer to kind of find a buyer or do the extra steps. Someone really has to want the product to get it. I know there's been some things where if we order coffee or something and it's not available for Prime, I'm forget it, I'll just come back tomorrow and figure it out. And sure enough, when I come back, it's Prime. So definitely that is kind of one of the things to look out for. Some of the pros, a lot of sellers will probably stay away from those listings just because, they don't want to deal with it. They're kind of confused. They're not sure if they're going to get sales, or if, when you're looking at the buy box rotation in Keepa, there is no buy box rotation because there's no buy box. So you really got to go by the offers tab and make your own decision. So if it has a check mark, that means it's being sent FBA. If there's no check mark, that means it's being sold merchant fulfilled. So you kind of got to sort through that. It just kind of complicates things for people who don't know what they're doing. So I think a lot of people would stay away from that. Two, another pro for this is the product most likely is hard to get or is out of stock at a lot of stores, or there's a supply chain issue. Not always, but usually. Because usually when a buy box is suppressed, Amazon's saying the price is way too high. So they don't want to give a buy box. So usually you'll see on a lot of those listings, the price like spiking way up or the seller account go way down. So it's kind of a pro because if you could get your hands on it, you can make some good money. But it's also a con because it could be a risky listing. If, it's out of stock a lot of places, it's inflated, you're most likely not going to see consistent 90-day sales averages on these. If it will, it'll be for like a short period of time. But I mean, that's just kind of some things to think about when getting these listings or looking at these listings. So what I typically do is I'm a big proponent of doing a test buy. I have sold a lot of items, especially in Q4, that didn't have buy boxes and for a lot of money. Again, Q4 is a little different. People want stuff. They're going to take those extra clicks to find it and get it, and they're not really going to care about price. Most of them will select FBA, most likely during the holiday season. So it's a little different in Q4, but I've definitely sold on a lot of listings. But what I'm really looking at, I've also got burned on a lot of listings where, not a lot, but when I bought it, I didn't take into consideration because I didn't know that I'd be competing with merchant fulfilled sellers. And when I looked at all the merchant fulfilled sellers, I was like, oh, I'm going to be the only FBA seller. This is going to be great. I'm just going to clean up here. And sometimes that is the case. But in a couple of situations, I did not. Because they were giving the buy box to the merchant fulfilled people because the price differential was just not there, I guess. So that is some stuff to be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I always like to do a test buy, see if it's going to work. If it's not going to work, on these, I never go deep. I would probably say like test out 6 maybe. It's really expensive, maybe test out 3. You might even want to just test out doing it merchant fulfilled. You can always send it to FBA at like a later point if it's not selling merchant fulfilled. This way you have the option to, watch it and get it sold quicker. If there really is a supply issue, people definitely will buy it merchant fulfilled. You just want to be pricing against merchant fulfilled people, not FBA people. So just keep that in mind. And then, yeah, if it's easy to get, I think, or easy for you to get, or you have a store that has it, merchant fulfilling is a great opportunity for this to test it. And then even if you do test it merchant fulfilled, I would just always say proceed with caution, just like anything else, because these listings tend to be pretty volatile in most cases, just because obviously the price is more than Amazon wants it to be. The count is probably up. Everyone else is probably looking for these listings or this product. So once everyone finds it, there's going to be a flood of products going to FBA. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing this. But I personally am not afraid to sell on listings that don't have buy boxes. Obviously, I prefer to sell on listings that have buy boxes just because you just want a listing that has a buy box and it's just kind of moving product. Whenever you're doing anything, or I don't know if you ever sold anything or worked in marketing, you want the least bit of friction possible for the consumer. If they have to find it or dig for it, it's just never good. So when there's a buy box, they can just add it to their cart and they're good to go. So I would say do a test buy, play around with it. Definitely look too to make sure that merchant fulfilled sellers are getting sales. Like I said before, look for that. In the offers tab, the seller not have a check mark. And yeah, good. I think that kind of covers it. Yeah, give it a test buy. Those are kind of the pros and the cons. You know, just like I said, I would proceed with caution on these. There's so much more. There's a ton of inventory out there that have buy boxes that are profitable. So if you really don't want to mess around with this, or you're kind of just find profitable products that have buy boxes, and then like as you get more advanced or you get more comfortable, then you can start to play around with these listings. Hope you guys found that helpful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys sell on listings that have no buy boxes, or do you stay away from them? Why or why not? And like the video, subscribe, share it with a friend, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. One last thing before you go, I am now offering coaching. After doing over $1 million in sales, reselling since I started, I've been getting a lot of questions about it and have started coaching. So if you're interested in one-on-one help, whether it's finding profitable products, getting started, getting things set up, selling books, getting bulk book suppliers, any of that stuff, all the softwares that I use, it's all free game. If you want to book a call, there's a link down below, and I hope to work with you.